Hi, this is János, it's Reword Audio, and I'm here in the garage with Sylvester. And Sylvester is a mostly black cat, and I don't think you can see much of him because on the videos he shows up as a black spot. So why am I here in the garage? As you saw, there's a lot of mess here, and there's a lot of mess because there's projects going on. And this is the project I would like to talk about, is that there is Alex, my godson, and he asked me to, he said, Uncle János, can you help me build a pair of speakers? And sure. I said yes to that, and we designed a pair of bookshelves together with him, and he's in high school now, he just started high school. And actually he got into speaker design quite a bit, and even about crossover design, drivers, researching drivers as junior in high school, and that's pretty amazing. And we decided for a design with him with a nice little silk dome tweeters. Actually, one of his criteria was that he doesn't want some really expensive high-end speaker, audiophile, whatnot. He wants something really good for gaming, so for computer games. So the main purpose of these is to provide a fun gaming experience. And as you see, these are bookshelves. I think they will still have a pretty decent low frequency extension, but he has a subwoofer. Actually now he has a pair of JVC subs plus an additional subwoofer, so he can play around with that for like a super low extension. But these will be the main speakers for his computer setup. And we found a nice pair of silk dome tweeters for him, and a little 5-inch woofer, and it has a wool cone. And these are like surprisingly good drivers for the price. They were about like $25 per driver, and for that the woofer is just surprisingly good build quality. I am really astounded by the very look. It even has a vented pole piece. Wow! I'm just blown away. This is really a little beauty. And this tweeter, we have countersunk the drivers, and it's really hard to take it out because of the countersinking. Maybe you can see the countersinking better here. You see both the woofer and the tweeter were countersunk, and it's really nice. It's a Dayton Audio tweeter. It's a silk soft dome tweeter, and yep. So the cabinet material is pine wood for front, top, bottom, rear, and the sides are plywood, 1/2-inch plywood, and this is a 3/4-inch pine or 19mm pine wood. And now this is a Sunday, we have spent the third Sunday together, about 3-4 hours per Sunday, and now we have finished the cabinets. So now the cabinets are, well, semi-finished. We still need to go through sanding and paint. So a layer of paint I will get. Let me show you the rear of the speaker, and it has a nice long slot port in the end. So it's a ported design, and as you see, they are small bookshelf speakers. Actually, for the new generation, they are pretty large. just us audiophiles call them small. So anyway, that was more fun. It's truly a lot of fun working with Alex. We built it together. Actually, he did, I would say, at least half of the labor of the manual work for it. We've been using this table saw, handheld router, rotozip, and lots of other tools. And I have to say that countersinking the drivers was the most labor intensive of all of the cabinet build. Just the countersinking alone was probably took as much time as building the cabinets. So this is just FYI for those of you who are thinking to countersunk your drivers, and also maybe perhaps explains why when you buy speakers so few of them have countersunk drivers, because it adds a significant labor cost to to cabinet construction. So I think this is my big news for the Monday Audio Club, and I'm going to show you more videos about the speakers. I have already made 2 videos from our first day when we started building the cabinets. So the next video will be in this series about this bookshelf series, will be about the start of the project. And there you can see, maybe you can see a little bit, that's the slot port on the inside of the cabinet, if you can see something through the shadows, right? Okay. Wow, we can't see much more. There's not much light inside there. So anyway, I'm going to give a few more updates and a few more episodes about this bookshelf loudspeaker build. And the key point of this is just really budget approach. So the drivers for the pair were about $100 plus a few dollars for shipping. It was very generous. Not the shipping wasn't much because of the small sizes of the drivers. Very basic, very few crossover parts. The woofer will have a second order low pass filter on it with an air core inductor and a film capacitor, a Dayton film capacitor. It's like a really basic film cap, but it's still a film cap. And an air core inductor. And for the tweeter, we will use a first order high pass filter, and I'm going to give Alex a Conrad Johnson 10 microfarad film capacitor for that. So that will be the crossover for this speaker, which will be an 8 ohm impedance bookshelf speaker for fun. And I will be very curious how it turns out. And what we are also going to do is I'm going to use Kimber cable for the internal wiring. Well, that's not very low end budget, but I have a couple of those which are like really old Kimber wires, like, you know, the 4TC, 8TC, that kind. So I'm just going to hack them up and then use that for the internal wiring. And for the speaker cable, I'm not going to use binder posts, but I'm providing some monster cable, and it will be hardwired to the crossover. So one plus and one maybe minus. Some audiophiles would say the monster cable might be a downgrade if you want to use like a $10,000 speaker cable instead. Yes, compared to that it's probably a downgrade, but leaving out the binding post is a massive upgrade. So if you want to build a speaker for like a budget point, then my advice would be just do not use a binding post, just get some decent dependable speaker cable like monster cable, for example. If you can get, what I'm going to use is some monster cable from Radio Shack, which is by now vintage monster cable, vintage wire, and I just cannot overstate or understate the importance that when you have a copper cable, if it's been properly preserved, so it's not oxidized, but the copper is in good condition, if it is a vintage copper wire, it will sound a lot better than a current production one, for the simple reason that when the wire is annealed, goes through the annealing process, there's tremendous stress for the metal, and the metal, after the annealing, it keeps on recrystallizing, and that recrystallization process takes decades and decades, and once the wire is drawn, by each decade its sound will improve and improve and improve. If you don't believe it, you guys, you know that I have the autoformer in my system that I have designed, and I have asked a master transformer winder to build it for me, and he used antique Turkish copper wire, and I think that wire was from like the 40s or 50s, some ridiculously old wire, and it just sounds absolutely wonderful, absolutely fabulous. And I compared it to extremely expensive modern day TVCs, and it just wiped their butt with tonality, and yeah, and those were made with current production, very expensive wires, and still not as good in tone and balance as an antique wire. So that's one way how you can save costs or use your budget wisely with that. And of course, in this budget category, just do not use those cheap and junk binding posts. They are a very powerful means or tool to degrade your system, to just absolutely destroy the sound of your speakers, to bring the sound down to bargain bottom basement territory. And in most cases, when you have a loudspeaker that has affordable elements inside, often it does not sound bad because the drivers are bad, or the cabinet, if it was properly built, the cabinet is the weakest point. No, the weakest point, the weakest links are always the binding posts, the internal wiring, and the crossover elements. So you would say, oh János, you are using Kimber for internal wire. Well, I could use the monster cable as well for internal wire. I'm just going to use the Kimber because I've already promised it to Alex, and why not? Why not? And for fun, after I've built them, I'm going to compare them to the Ryan bookshelf speakers, which is not a really fair comparison, given that those are pretty expensive audiophile speakers, but you are going to get some comparison that if you put in a whole lot of work and a lot of common sense, what is it that you can get out of it? So I hope this was something very different from what I usually talk about, because I mostly talk about either like high efficiency speakers or single drivers, and this is none of that. However, you know, you can put a lot of love and effort and energy into any project that you desire, and I think like building a pair of bookshelf speakers which great, I think it's a very worthy endeavor. and I think Sándor, Alex will have a very awesome time with these speakers. So thank you for tuning in, thank you for listening. This was János and Alex's speakers. Bye bye.